Chapter 1. Geography.
Classification of resources. Our Earth has enough natural resources. To understand the importance of these sources, we can classify them into the following types, on the basis of origin. 1. Biotic resources. 2. Abiotic resources. We get abiotic resources from plants and animals. They include forests and their produce, agricultural crops, grasses and animal fodder, wild and domestic and animals, birds, reptiles, fishes etc. The biotic resources provide a variety of useful products. Most of the biotic resources have the capacity to reproduce and regenerate, provided the environmental conditions remain favorable. All biotic resources are renewable. Many species of plants and animals are in danger of extinction due to the undesirable activities of human beings. Now their preservation has become essential for their survival. We get abiotic resources from the physical or non-living environment. Land, water and air are abiotic resources. Minerals and power resources are also abiotic resources. The abiotic resources are not renewable, as they can be exhausted by excessive use. Their rate of formation is way slow. The usefulness of the abiotic resources depends upon their accessibility and their value. Their total reserves cannot be increased by human efforts. The resources are in great demand for the development of industries. Natural resources. These are material objects and energy resources that exist in the environment around us. Air, water and naturally growing plants are essential for survival. Some others help in satisfaction of secondary wants. Air and sunlight are available perpetually. Resources may be classified in another manner. Petroleum under the seabed was at one time a potential resource. Once it was known where it exists in what quantities, it became actual resources. With the development of technology to bring it out and refine, the potential resource turned to bring it out and refine, the potential resources turned into economic resource. Resources known to exist but not utilized are classified as reserve resources. USA has plenty of petroleum as a reserve resources. Some resources are renewable. Their supply can be replenished. Crops can be grown over few months. Forests would take much longer time. Left untempered, water and oxygen cycles replenish these automatically. More important than all these are the men who harness these resources by their skill and hard work. They form the human resources. Human resources help in creation of new resources like machines, tools and other infrastructure necessary for production. These are man-made resources. Economic prosperity does, to a very large extent, depend on how the available resources are harnessed by human beings. Countries like Japan import minerals and yet their people enjoy a high standard of living. Same about a number of European countries that import food and export high-touch and high-price products and thus are able to maintain high standards of living even in respect of food products. Technology is the most precious resource in today's world. Growth today depends to a very large extent on the knowledge now productivity can be increased and how high-tech products can be made out of other low-cost raw products. Productivity is also dependent on social structure, law and order situation and the political and social institutions. Where there are better facilities like banks, uninterrupted water and electric supply, roads and fast means of communication, business and productivity are high. Another important thing is the quality of the goods and their delivery as per samples and promised time schedules. On the basis of occurrence and utility, there are only a few things in nature which we can use directly. Most of the natural resources need some processing to produce goods fit for human consumption. Early man used muscle power to do the work of processing, such as grinding wheat flours, or extracting oil from oilseeds, or spinning and weaving cloth. Today, we use many types of mechanical power, which is the basis of all the manufacturing activities. The needs are increasing with the increase in population. Thus, to meet his increasing demand, the variety and scale of manufacturing industries has also been modified. The place where nature resources were found also influences the use of those resources. In some cases, only simple tools are needed, such as in food gathering, hunting, fishing and agriculture. The utility of minerals depends on their location. Some occur on the surface while others may be deep under the surface. It is difficult to mine beyond a depth of about 2000 meters. Thus, the location of a mine in terms of its accessibility and the climate of the area affects its utility. Thus, besides the nature of a resource, the utility of the resources is determined by the following factors. 1. The form in which it occurs. 2. The place of its occurrence. 3. The efforts needed to process it, and 4. The cost involved in processing it. Our planet Earth is made up of three major spheres. They are the lithosphere or land, the hydrosphere or water, and the atmosphere or the air that envelops the Earth. These three spheres together support the biosphere or life sphere. These spheres provide humans with all their material requirements. Any material that is found in these spheres that is useful to man is called a resource. Resources play an important role in the economic development of a country. What is resource? Anything that can be used to satisfy any of our needs is a resource. When we look around ourselves, we can observe and identify many types of resources. The water we drink when we are thirsty, the electricity we use in our house, the bus we use to get school from home, the books we use to study are all resources. The tasty snack our mother prepares for us and the fresh vegetables we use are also a resource. Resources can be classified into different types based on different criteria. On the basis of development, resources are classified into potential resources and developed resources. Potential resources are those resources which have not yet been utilized by humans. For example, resources of Siberia and Antarctica. On the other hand, developed resources are the resources which are used by humans. For example, coal, iron ore, etc. On the basis of renewability, resources are classified into non-renewable or stock resources and renewable or flow resources. Today, we are concerned about resources depletion since the economic development of a nation depends on its resources. We will now examine in detail this category of resource in view of the depleting resources worldwide. PHYSICAL environment. The physical environment of a region comprises some features like land, rivers, forests, animals and men. The use to which these elements are put varies from place to place and time to time. For the early man, land provided only naturally growing fruits. Now a question arises, people of which civilization started yielding a large variety of agricultural crops? Forests provide wood which is used as fuel in some societies. In highly developed countries, wood becomes the raw material for very high-priced goods like rayon fiber or currency paper. Rivers were at one time the source for potable water. Today, water has become a widely used resource which is used for generating hydroelectricity. Goats may be killed for mutton and sheep are reared to get wool. These examples illustrate that the value of an element of physical environment is not constant. It is low in underdeveloped societies and very high in developed or industrialized societies. People with similar natural environment can be very poor or very rich depending on the level of the available technology. A typical example is that of hill people in India and similarly placed people in Scandinavian countries. Besides technology, the development of natural elements is highly dependent on availability of capital, machines and trained labor force. Bihar is very rich in mineral resources. But it is not rich in terms of per capita income. Generation of high incomes becomes possible through industrialization. In the absence of adequate availability of other factors of production, the region remains economically backward. It is not enough that a region is endowed with certain natural elements. The people must be able to harness them for economic prosperity. Human needs are not the same everywhere. They vary not only from region to region, but also from time to time. Human needs actually depend on their natural environment and also on the level of social, cultural and technological development. Many countries in the world have vast reserves of resources. They do not know how to exploit and develop these resources. Thus such countries are poor, backward and underdeveloped. The importance of a particular resource is also changing with time. It depends not only in the changing technology, but also on the varying needs